Welcome back to the show, everybody. We got a great one for you this morning. XRP is on the move at 63 cents this morning. We're going to talk about that. Coinbase S-1 filing history is about to be made. Make no mistake about that. High yields on crypto. I'm going to show you where you can find some. Japan and the FATF 2022 deadline. UK and the FCA have a different 2022 deadline, but I can see some alignment happening here. JP Morgan gives a Bitcoin price target that will just knock you out. No wonder the institutions are moving into this space. SEC continues its objection to Ripple sealed documents. We'll take a look at it. We are going to hear from former Ripple executive, Marcus Treacher, and he's going to tell you what I believe is the moment we are currently in, and you're going to want to know about it. Let's go ahead and roll that beautiful intro.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackUpBradleyAbove and everything that we're talking about here today. We are almost at a $2 trillion cryptocurrency market cap. We are not far away, ladies and gentlemen. And I tell you what, that's extremely exciting to me, knowing that gold has an $8 trillion market cap and we're almost at $2 trillion. So that is just remarkable. So shout out to everybody in the crypto space for that number. By the way, 1.1 trillion plus of that is sitting at Bitcoin's doorstep this morning. Wait till you hear the price target that JP Morgan has put on Bitcoin. Oh my. Okay, let's look at XRP right now at 63 cents. Look at it. Just look at it. It's beautiful. Yeah, XRP 0.6311 up 6.05 on the 24-hour, up 14.27% on the on the 7-day. That's what I meant to say. And 14.27. Okay, I just need to write that down for a second so I don't forget it. And then let's take a look at the range, because this is where it gets important for us. You know, I've been talking about the fact that we needed to get above that 57 cent mark as one of the next little areas of resistance. Well, we're above it, right? And as long as we don't tail down below it in that range, I think we can keep having that conversation we have heard so many analysts in the space talk about for XRP. This may be the moment that we're working towards to see that dollar, and eventually by summer, what they're calling for is a new all-time high. So let's take a look at that right now. So this is from Crypto Maniac, and there's quite a few analysts out here. I'm just using Crypto Maniac's chart, and I appreciate that they shared it. So showing here, you can see that this is the moment that we're in and looking for a breakout that takes us eventually to a new all-time high by summer is what the most people are saying. So over the next couple months, we should be able to get there if we can continue to keep breaching these areas of resistance, right? So we'll keep an eye on it. Here was Lundell XRP, which I showed yesterday, who was showing how much the XRP energy has just been coiled up in the charts, and everybody's looking for a breakout saying April is time to shine. Well, I tell you what, none of us have a problem with that. And this recently from Crypto Bull 2020, and I was just showing this to you just so you know that there is, and maybe Crypto Bull's thing's not showing for me now. Let me see if I retweeted it because I thought I did. Don't you just love Twitter? But Crypto Bull 2020 was showing that the net, here it is right here, and shout out to Crypto Bull 2020. Showing us that XRP update, we broke through the 57 cent mark that we have been discussing. Right now, XRP is battling against 63 cents. We know that 67 cents had been a real point of resistance for XRP before. It appears right now it's battling against 63 cents at the moment, and we can see here on the daily chart closing above that, and the next move will be towards 75, 80 cents. And ladies and gentlemen, if we get to that dollar mark, I've seen this in 2017, 2018. If you want to know what FOMO looks like, just break $1. You'll see what happens. I can tell you that. All right, this here is some fantastic news. Obviously, we broke this the other day when we talked about it when it came out, but this is a reminder. If you haven't been in the space and not watching the news, Coinbase will be going public, direct listing on April 14th, 2021, in just a couple weeks here. So this is very exciting to me because I think this is going to open the door, and we are going to see many companies IPO. What do we know? We know Kraken intends to IPO at some point very soon. We know Ripple would like to IPO, and I'm sure that's going to be based around getting the case settled with XRP. And to me, there are many other companies that have expressed it as well. We know Robinhood wants to go public, right? So all of this is going to be a floodgate opening to where we're going to see, I believe, just tons and a wave of massive companies IPOing and going public. The other side of the coin on this, think about what this does to regular investors in the world that see this new offering make its way to the public, and what that's going to do for the awareness of the cryptocurrency digital asset space. It is going to entice a lot of people to come into this space that normally wouldn't, because I think we get very used to the fact that we're here. We understand what's going on, what's happening in a broad way for digital assets and crypto in general. But I don't know about you, but sometimes I lose sight of the fact that, the rest of the world doesn't know a lot about cryptocurrency, right? And this kind of public offering is going to begin to wake people up to it. I can tell you that. All right, so they're going to look at this. Now, I spoke about the fact, and I've showed this before, but I have been blown away by Kava and the earn high yields on crypto business they're doing. And total earnings distributed so far has been over $34 million. Look at these yields they're getting. The total assets value right now are $279,263,926.89. And looking here, Bitcoin is giving a APY, which is an annual percentage yield, which is the difference between an API and an APR, is that an APY, APY is a compound yield where an APR is not. And obviously, you can see the results are pretty remarkable. Bitcoin now with an APY of 48+%. Binance USD is 54% plus. XRP is 64%. BNB, and then that's Binance USD, and then BNB is coming in at 19.28, and then Kava at 25%, and then Hard Token at 63+. Wow. I mean, I just thought you should know. Here's one thing I will say. I don't know how this process works, but I can tell you right now, I'm going to go through that process. And when I do, I will show you how I did it. No doubt about it. Okay. Looking at this here, from JP Morgan here, says Bitcoin volatility declines paves way for banks. The recent pullback in Bitcoin's volatility is setting the stage for a trend that could encourage institutions to dive in. Well, that's not all, JP Morgan says. Look at this. JP Morgan adjusts its Bitcoin target to 130,000, predicting strong institutional adoption. 130,000. Damn. I do have some Bitcoin, and I've said this many times on the show. I think Bitcoin makes it long term. I align very much with Brad Garlinghouse and his comments. And the reality is that I believe Bitcoin makes it long term, but I do believe proof of work, generally speaking, is going to have some carbon footprint tax or some kind of a carbon tax on proof of work mining of that nature of some sort. So we will definitely keep an eye on that. But nevertheless, that is amazing. JP Morgan sees massive upside coming to Bitcoin. And I can't imagine that comes to Bitcoin and doesn't come to the rest of the crypto space. So let's look at this. Japan will adopt Financial Action Task Force travel rule. And that is pretty incredible. Let's take a look at this. By April 2022, which is next year, I'm not going to play the clip. Let's just take a look at these bullet points here. Japanese regulator announced Wednesday that the Financial Action Task Force rule, which, if you're not aware, we followed heavily here on this channel, which is an international regulatory agency that is connected to the G7 and G20. Yeah, you might want to pay attention to what they're doing. Even though what they release are recommendations, guidelines, they're not law. However, you have to understand that the members that sit on that panel are actually countries. So the countries collectively come up with an international framework. They pass that down as recommendations. Wink, wink, you need to follow them because this is member countries telling you that we're all doing this. And if you don't, they can take action against your trade in your country coming in or going out if they feel they need to, and they can gray list or blacklist your country if you don't do what they want you to. That's why they don't make it a law. They don't need to. They just shut your trade off, right? So it's nice to know you got neighbors like that. Japanese regulator announced Wednesday the FATF rule requiring virtual asset service providers to share transaction data of senders and recipients will be adopted in the country by April 2022. And this tells me if Japan has been forward thinking in this space and taking action in this space, which they have, everyone's going to be doing this. Yeah, the libertarian in me is screaming too, but this is where it's going. The travel rule was created to prevent cryptocurrencies from being used for money laundering and terrorist financing, FSA, which is their financial service agency like the SEC here, kind of. So requests that the Japan Virtual and Crypto Asset Exchange Association advise its members to prepare for this implementation. It's coming. Okay, so let's keep moving. Lots to go over. UK FCA, their Financial Conduct Authority, has extended its financial crime reporting framework to crypto businesses. The extension comes into force on March 30th, 2022. So again, even though this is not the same rule, I see an alignment here between the regulators and the countries that are much further along with clarity in the crypto space than the U.S. currently is at the moment. Now, that tells me we got nothing but upside coming. Here's some more upside that seems small, but it's an awareness and it's an educational side here. Thailand's SEC says investors should have crypto trading experience. The commission will be offering free training course for investors who have no experience in trading cryptocurrency. Now, I think this is a fantastic idea. And besides the fact that I hope that something like that is offered here and they could even begin to bring an even lower threshold for accreditation in the U.S. We'll see what happens, but I just think that would be great. XRP crypto wolf Brad Garlinghouse said that Ripple uses the XRP ledger because it's extremely fast and 100,000 times more energy efficient than Bitcoin. It works really well for payments. This is one of the reasons for the success gaining customers, even during the SEC lawsuit. True story. Listen, people see Bitcoin as a store of value, like a store of value like digital gold. And, let's understand that it is not really good for payments, but that doesn't make it worthless. It just makes it not good for payments, right? So, 100,000 times faster and more energy efficient. Does that knock you out? That's a hell of a number right there, isn't it? It's a hell of a number. Ripple and CEO Brad Garlinghouse said that they were working with some they were working with some central banks and internally speaking to many central banks around the world about stablecoin initiatives for CBDCs, and they hear it is helpful what Ripple is doing in solving cross-border payments problem. Yeah, they also have a private ledger which they are currently piloting for the central banks. Yeah, don't get it twisted. And we covered yesterday, and if you haven't seen it, please watch the video. There was a comment made by Brad Garlinghouse in response to Julia Chatterley's interview. I've got it in the video yesterday. You can watch it. A lot of people thought it was clickbait, but it was a direct quote from Brad Garlinghouse saying that if the U.S. basically said we couldn't use XRP, we could do some kind of an alternative in the United States. The reality for me is the U.S. can say whatever it wants. It'll be the only country that doesn't use XRP. If they do that, I'll let you make it that of what you will. The rest of the world is actually using XRP, or at least clear on the matter that XRP can be used, but yet they want to have a conversation that the U.S. may not use or allow the use of it here in the United States. It doesn't add up. When you understand the deep relationships that Ripple has with the many different central banks of the world, and by the way, the Federal Reserve being one of them, because If you don't remember and you're new to the space, the Federal Reserve Faster Payments Task Force basically commissioned companies to submit who could be the best solution to cross-border payments, for which Ripple was recommended, and obviously XRP as the full complement to the suite of software products that they offer there. So we will see how that goes, but I'm calling BS on that one. I don't see them. They can call it a security if they want. They can call it they can call it a flying saucer. I don't care what you call it. But the reality is I don't believe they're going to harm the full-scale intended use of XRP, whether it be in the United States or anywhere else. That's for sure. So this is further information here on the SEC versus Ripple. The SEC is absolutely not happy about the motion to seal information that Ripple has filed and to keep it sealed. And they are still continuing to push to try to get some of this information revealed. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you so you can breathe a sigh of relief, but I will tell you this part right here. The legal advice that Ripple received regarding its sales of XRP is not a trade secret that its competitors could exploit, unlike, for instance, a part of Ripple software that may not be open source. It is also not a business plan that others could poach. Legal advice is just that, advice or analysis as to how laws could apply in a specific set of facts. If Ripple could claim that this is advice, which Ripple did not even follow, is privileged, then the analysis would perhaps be different, but Ripple cannot make that claim. Instead, Ripple asserts nothing but the truism that the information was previously meant to be confidential, but that sort of circular reason in favor of sealing is insufficient. Okay, says Jorge Tenrero, I believe is his name, and they're I don't know what to say. You know, they're like, look, if you're not going to show all 5 paragraphs, then show the first one, kind of thing. That's what we're looking at. That's the kind of argument they're making. You know, if you're not going to show us the whole thing, show us some of it. But we'll see where that goes. Honestly, I feel like whether they have to reveal any of that or not, you know, the reality here is just simply this. It's not whether XRP is a security, even though Ripple has asked in their prayer for relief, I think in the second one, to get a full designation on XRP to be a currency. The reality is they're actually being sued over the way they sold XRP from the 2013 to present in the OTC market directly from Ripple's sales. That's really the rub there. We'll see what happens. I think it ends up being a fine and a partial settlement at least, or a summary judgment. You know, maybe even see the case dismissed and then taken up in a different form with Gary Gensler, but I don't think so. But we'll see what goes on. And, you know, that and 50 cents won't get you a cup of coffee. I'm speculating. But Ripple and CEO Brad Garlinghouse says he's convinced that they will win against the SEC in the XRP lawsuit, and I believe him. Brad Garlinghouse doesn't think that Ripple is threatened by stablecoins and DeFi since it's solving a cross-border payments problem. Essentially, if you really understand the market and you've been in here for any length of time, this comment makes so much sense because it means, yeah, because Ripple has designed their business model to do what they do to service cross-border payments and make that more efficient. And the use of the native token on the XRP ledger, the XRP token, really is about being a bridge currency to all things, whether it be transactions of stablecoins, other cryptocurrencies, other assets that have been tokenized and placed on the blockchain or distributed ledger technology like the XRP ledger, or to solve transactions for DeFi solutions. So that's where we're at here. And if you want to know where we're really at here, this comes from Jamil Kays, and I think this really says it. This is an old clip of Marcus Treacher, the former Ripple executive, who had the pleasure to meet at the Swell event in 2019, formerly worked at Swift, and he also was a head at HSBC Bank. And I think he lays this down. What moment we are currently in right now is right here.
Yes, I think, works. I think the disruption is happening, and I think the impacts of obviously with blockchain, etc., will be disruptive, and I don't think it will be a continuous thing at all. And there is a concept of tipping point, and the funny thing about a tipping point is it's obvious it's happened only after it's happened. So looking back, you can say, okay, at that point in time, things kind of changed. But if you live through the change, in many cases, you're not aware that the world is changing around you. So blockchain, for example, Ripple, we already have cross-border blockchain traffic running in production for customers around the world, moving millions of dollars. It's happening. That's one example. And I think in this disruptive world, it's not just the edges of the banking world which are being challenged. I mean, the whole dot-com revolution was around changing the surface of banking, moving from branches to internet banking or to apps. This time, the technology is going right into the middle. It's changing how our customers think. To your point, the predictions are that by 2020, there'll be around 50 billion devices connected to the internet without any people being involved, and they'll start to bank and transact with each other. But also, within the organization itself, actually challenging what makes up a bank, what you do when you bank, how much goes into the structure that we see today as a bank versus an Alipay, an Alibaba, etc. So I think the disruption will come because the technology is attacking every piece of the value chain. And the difficult point is that by the time it's obvious what's happening, it will have happened.
I don't think you could say it any better, and I think that's exactly the moment we are in. We are in a tipping point. JP Morgan's calling for a price target of 130,000 or 150,000, one or the other, for Bitcoin. We see the SEC case with Ripple really weakening by the day. There's another hearing on April 6th. It's a telephonic call. I'm going to be tuning into that, and we'll certainly bring you any information from that case, that particular hearing as well. And to me, what I see is a real tipping point happening. We see Coinbase getting ready to file and do their direct listing on April 14th. All of this is transformative movement in this digital asset space, whether it be regarding payments and payment network protocols like the SEC versus Ripple, or whether we're talking about just out and out investing from institutional level into Bitcoin, and then the IPO wave that is about to come to this space, because this new nascent emerging market of digital assets is about to go through another growth spurt, and it's going to be huge for the entire space, and I believe all of us that are already in it. So that's going to do it for me. It's not financial advice. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe and leave a comment below. That part is advice. And make sure you check out all the links in the description box and the comment section. There's some really great products and services that I use each and every day, and they are trusted, vetted links. I'll catch all of you on the next one.